Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome to Aurora 4X C# with me, EnterElysium. So, this is going to be like a session 0 in that, like, I'm going to be talking about the setup for the campaign. We'll actually make the game, and then we're going to talk about, like, what our races and what our goals are and kind of the setup and the interactivity, because I kind of want to do some interactivity with this. So if you found this video, you've probably found the link from somewhere else, because I'm not going to make this video public. The idea is that, like, hey, if you're watching the Let's Play, then hey, welcome to the episode where we talk about what's going on and what the setup is. And if you want to get involved, how to do so. So firstly, Aurora 4X is a fun game, but it's much more fun if you put, like, constraints or restrictions or kind of a roleplay element into it. So what we've done is we're setting up kind of like a interactivity government system in that people can do political parties, and those political parties can kind of influence things as we go along every time there's an election. And so we're doing that through the Discord, which anyone can join, by the way, discord.gg/EnterElysium. You can find links at link.ee/EnterElysium. There'll be a link to my Discord on there. And then you can get involved. Basically, there's like a RP channel for people to talk in character, and then there's people to like talk about the game, etc. Hey, you can check out the Discord if you want. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, we're talking about Aurora today, and you'll notice that, like, firstly, I've got this set up so that my cursing can go between multiple screens, and that's not actually an image changing. This is a different screen. Notice the mouse is like, I'm gonna go off to the right. I'm gonna go off to the left. Or I'm gonna go off to the right. See? Different screens, because Aurora is going to use up a lot of screens, so this is kind of a complicated setup. But let us load up Aurora. So we have to make ourselves a game, effectively. Like, firstly, it's mostly the game setup, and then it'll be the race specifications, but we need to set ourselves up a game. Now, I've done a couple of things before we get into this. I've customized a load of stuff. So there's going to be names in the game based on some things here and there. I've made custom ranks, a whole load of stuff to try and make this kind of more interactive. So firstly, those people who are patrons of mine, there's a whole like nameless thing that we've got on Patreon. That's getting involved. I've also scraped my Twitch for the name of all my Twitch subscribers, getting that involved. And also I had a open Google form that people could submit names for like big dynasties, clans, houses. And these houses are the houses that support us in RP, into, you know, uniting Earth after the big cataclysm of 2020, and then going to the stars. So kind of the RP background for this is that in 2020, there was the cataclysm. And this cataclysm lasted 10 years of upheaval, during which the benevolent ruler, EnterElysium, managed to unite Earth with the help of 40 great houses. And then we go to space with the knowledge of the new trans-Newtonian materials to try and explore, and you get the gist. So, those 40 houses are drawn from the Google form I had up for the last couple of days. And then I believe that high-level Patreons and Twitch supporters are the names of ship classes. And then all the Twitch people and the Patreon supporters and stuff are going to be the names of star systems. And I believe that the houses, the 40 of them, will be the names of every last person in the game, because only the people of these houses will get involved in high level. Look, I had to make a name list involving many last names and first names. It got complicated. Whatever. Anyway, the way I did that, I mean, firstly, you can do it through this if you want. There is a way to do this in game. Only to an extent. I don't think you can actually make people names with this. I did it through database editing, which, you know, I probably shouldn't tell people to do because you can easily break your game that way. But, you know, it can be done. Just keep backups. Anyway, this is the default save that as soon as you load up the game, it's there. Look how this works. This is great. Sorry, I only just set this up today, and I'm kind of really pleased with it. It's so cool. Anyway, we're going to go and start a new game. Welcome. I'm going to put this over here. To the game specification. We're going to make a new game, obviously. So I'm going to hit new game. And we're going to call this United Earth. And this will be our game. Now, we're going to have to change a load of settings here because there are some things I'd like to customize about this. Firstly, maximum number of star systems. We're going to crank that down to just 300. And then local system generation chance. Chance of a new discovered system linking to a local system. A local system is defined as having a number close to that. So basically, when it makes systems, it has a whole list. And these are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have names, but you can call them 1 through, in this case, 300. If you are star 20, there is a 50% chance that the star you go to from your jump point will be within 15 of 20. So it will be between 5 and 35. And we can adjust this. I think what we'll do is we'll adjust that down to 12. And then we'll adjust that up to 65. I feel that will give us the most, like, connected, close-knit network without being a case of, hey, this star just goes to the other end of the galaxy and then that one goes over there and it gets wacky and wild and you never have a galaxy map that makes sense. That's probably going to be good for us. Construction time cycle, never mess with that. Difficulty modifier. This is basically a speed buff for research rates for the AI, growth rates for the AI, and also will affect their starting population size, starting ships, etc. I'm going to whack this all the way up to a dumb number. I'm going to go 200%. I have gone much higher than that before, but we're going to stick on 200 for now. We can always change that later. Our research speed is actually research speed in the entire game. I'm actually going to crank that down. I think we're going to go down to 50. Yeah. I would even go potentially lower, and we might go potentially lower later on. Like, the great thing about these settings here is you can modify them anytime. Now, the reason I'm doing this is research speed in Aurora, in my opinion, is very quick, especially if you build extra research labs, i.e., you want to do research. It's just quick, and it tends to invalidate a lot of your designs very quickly. You also tend to just get ahead of the AI incredibly quick, and, to a certain extent, we've mitigated that by making AI a little bit faster on that, double. But I still prefer having a little bit of a slower research speed. It just makes it a little bit more sensible in my view. You actually have the same drive technology for 15 years as opposed to for 5 years. And you're like, we've invented a new engine. All those ships I was building, they're kind of pointless now. I would even potentially go lower than this. I'd be very tempted. You know what? Let's go to 45. And we can always crank that down lower later on. Terraforming speed. We'll crank this down to 80%. Terraforming can be a bit quick sometimes. We can always potentially change that later in the game. Survey speed, I'm happy with 100. NPR generation by player. This is basically a chance you will generate another AI race whenever you encounter a world that has the correct parameters. It has to be vaguely livable. And then the race that will live there will be spawned if you happen to be unlucky, or potentially lucky if you want to meet new races, I guess. We're going to make that 25. Chance that an AI race will spawn an AI race, 0, because that will get slow. Ruin generation chance, 20%, that's fine. Minimum comets, fine. Truce countdown, that's mostly useful if you've got multiple races starting in the Sol system. Basically, it stops everyone just attacking instantly. That's fine. No passwords. Detection, I'm not even sure this actually works, but we're going to go automatic without player presence. It will just mean that the AI, if they're in the same system as each other, will know where each other are, rather than constantly being like, I detect you, I detect you, I detect you, I detect you, and it just gets kind of annoying. Sol disaster, none. Known star systems, I'm going to turn that off. It gets boring in my view. I know a lot of Aurora players are like hardcore aficionados of, yes, you must play known star systems. But honestly, I like the randomization, the wild card of being like generating new star systems every time. If you use known star systems, what you'll get is stuff like Alpha Centauri. And you'll be like, yes, I have been there many times. It just gets a little bit boring in my view. Orbital motion is fine. Generate new races as NPRs. That's fine. Allow human NPRs. No, because we're humans. Generate non-transnewtonian races. Basically, it generates conventional races only, like races who haven't gone to space yet. They're boring. No. Generate precursors. Yes. Generate invaders. I'm going to be dumb, and I'm going to click yes on this. Now, invaders are basically extragalactic invaders. The invaders periodically attempt to sweep the Milky Way galaxy clean of competitor races. They destroyed the original precursor civilization during their last incursion. Extremely dangerous. They are, like, ridiculously powerful. They have tech off the top end of the research chart that you can't even get to. Like, they are nuts powerful. But they don't always show up. And I know we're starting really weak in this with our, you know, relatively low research, etc. If they do show up too early, what I will do is I'll just edit them out, because I can go into the database and I can get rid of them. I'm pretty confident about my ability to edit the database at this stage. If they show up later on, that'll be fun. I like the narrative of, like, this one powerful invader ship just slowly coming towards us and it being, like, super deadly. Kind of like the, what are they called? Spaceship, Rosinante. It's in the books. It might not come up in the TV show yet. Whatever. You know what I'm on about. Anyway, generate Star Swarm. Yes. Although, that's something that we'll have to double check. NPRs activate ancient races. Yeah. We don't want the AIs activating the swarm. That goes poorly. Seriously. It goes very poorly. I've had a game where I've been like, what's slowing everything down? And I go and check, and it's because I had AI races activating Star Swarm, who then ate the AI race, went to the AI race's homeworld, started eating them, and then slowed the game down because it took so long to eat them. But we're going to have the Star Swarm on just because they're fun. Rakhas are basically orcs. They're ground units, and they're bugged, I believe, in this current version. We're playing 1.12. 1.12, and they're bugged. So every time I think you save and load the game, it teleports them. They never stay in the same spot or something. So we're going to turn them off. Also, ground combat's kind of annoying, so we'll leave them off now. Realistic commander promotions allows Aurora to look after promotions within your officer corps based on skill, medal, and timing grade. That's fine. Political bonus, basically, it gives them a bonus stat called, like, their political score, which is, hey, promote me because I'm really good at networking, rather than promote me because I'm actually good at my job. We're going to turn that off. No point. You can have it on if you kind of like that aspect, but it's just annoying. Inexperienced fleet penalties. Yeah. When this option is effect, fleets will respond to orders more slowly if they're inexperienced, and then you can train a fleet together to get them more experienced. I'm going to turn this off, and the reason for that is that it's much more important when it comes to close-in fighting than it is at long range. And long range is already a ridiculously powerful meta in this game. You don't need to, you know, nerf close-in combat anymore. It's also annoying to get fleets to train and stuff. It's just kind of a whole palaver that I don't want to deal with. So we're going to have inexperienced fleet penalty off. All jump points are stable. We're going to leave that off for now. If we had that on, we're going to start off really, really weak, and we would probably die instantly. So let's not have jump point stable. No maintenance required. Although maintenance is more annoying in this version, I feel, we're going to leave that off. We want maintenance required. Civilian shipping lines, yes. Civilian harvesters, yes. New tech from Conquest, yes. The starting date will be 2030, 10 years after 2020, which we all know is the fall of civilization. One player race. I want to say maybe 2 non-player races. And then, of course, we can spawn more. Minimum soul jump points. I'm going to say minimum 3. And if we feel that's not enough, I can always, like, Space Master in a 4th. Normally, I say minimum 4. But if it's 3 good ones, or if it's 3 interesting ones, I'm happy with 3. And I can always, you know, do the Space Mastery thing. If those of you know what Space Master is, it's kind of like your GM mode, like Game Master, in that you can do a couple of edits and stuff to make things a bit more custom. Earth mineral deposits. We're going to go up to 120, so an extra 20% minerals. The reason I'm doing that is because we're going to be starting off super weak, and I'll explain that in a bit. MPR distance, maximum MPR distance in light years. That's probably just to do with the known stars as far as I'm aware. but I am going to raise it just in case I'm wrong. And then we're going to create game. I hope I got all these things right. If not, we're kind of screwed now. Right. Race title. Elysian Empire. Well, we're United Earth. United Earth. Homeworld name, Earth. Non-player race, conventional empire, neutral race, auto-design tech points, auto-design. Home system grav surveyed. No. Home system geo surveyed. Yes. But no. Now, this is a complicated one. I want to make sure we start off with an interesting system, but I also don't want to see the system. So for now, I'm going to put this as blank, but I'll explain more about this soon. Species, we're going to be human. System theme. I believe if we scroll up, Elysian list long. Class theme. Elysian list short. Rank theme. Elysian ranks. And name theme. Elysian people names. There we go. Hopefully my database editing is actually working here, or this is going to break dramatically. Species name, human, etc. I don't want to modify any of this particularly. We might have a go at modifying the government stuff. We've got determination, diplomacy, expansion, militancy, trade, translation, and xenophobia. We might modify that as we go on with who gets elected as government, etc. But for now, that's fine. We are going to change our flag, and this is United Earth, so we need like a United Earth kind of image. Maybe. It's not round, it feels like it's squished. That one is definitely squished, which is a shame because I really like that one. Yeah, I feel that the best one is probably that one, or... You know what? That's kind of nice. Let's go with that. Change image. Ah! Change hull. Now, what ship hull should we have? The Enterprise? Is there anything else we'd probably want? I feel like that's going to not stand out enough. Is that, what, like the dealers from Stargate or something? That's quite nice. I don't know where that's from. Yeah, although, you know, something like that might be really, really obvious for us. I feel that we're probably going to go with... Ooh. That would be pretty nice, because it would stand out. You know what? I like the look of that. Let's go with that. And then station. Unfortunately, there aren't many good picks for stations. Stations kind of get the short end. We're just going to go with this like double rotating hab thing. And then United Earth. Very short name, Earth. Homeworld name, Earth. That's fine. And here's the fun part. Population. I'm fine with this being our population, really. I might, you know, give us a slight buff to speed us up from the start, but ultimately, no. Shipyards, 4. That's fine. Research, 20. Construction factories, fine. Ignore conventional. That's like pre-Transnewtonian, i.e. before you find out about the elements, they're useless. Only very niche use. Now, the only thing I really want to alter here is starting tech points and starting build points. Starting tech, basically this is the whole, like, you don't have to build from exactly the ground up. You have some tech researched. You have some ships built, and you can basically spend these at, you know, start of the game to have ships ready, to have techs researched. So you know, if you actually start off with this, with 80,000 points, minimum, you should have, like, ion drives or something, right? And drive tech in Aurora is huge. Like, that is the biggest tech you will have. And you could start off with ion drives. But also, it's so powerful because the AI will very rarely start with anything more than, like, nuclear pulse or something. I think it's more fun if we play completely from the ground up. We're going to be completely on the back foot here. AI start off with stuff, and, you know, their stuff's actually going to be really good because they're going to be twice as powerful as us. Like, they're going to have, you know, 16,000, whatever. But also they're going to then develop twice as fast. We aren't, and we're going to be coming up from behind. Like, we are very much like The Expanse. That's what I was thinking about before. Very much like The Expanse. Like, it's very early days for tech flight. We're pre-Expanse even. At the very first start, we're going to be using chemical rockets and stuff to move around. Obviously, we're not going to do that because they're literally useless. By the time we built them, we'll have researched something better, which we need. But our very first ships to, like, fly around are going to be using, like, you know, maybe nuclear pulse if we get there. Maybe worse. We'll see. But, like, I like the idea of we start off really underdeveloped and have to, like, build ourselves from the ground up. This does come with huge risk. If we are unlucky, someone's into our system early on, we could get totally screwed. But a couple of things. Firstly, if that does happen, I guess we'll just have to restart. In which case you'll see some cunning editing. Or I will just go into the database and fix it. Or, if it does happen, we'll try and hold, and if we can, we'll do it. If it's not going to be possible, because that just won't be fun, we'll make some adjustments. But I feel that, like, with some cunning, we might still be able to hold in some situations. I just love the idea of this underdog story of having to come up from behind and having to hold against enemies by whatever means necessary. So we are going to create race. Now, this button's actually just going to create the entire game, because once you create the race, you're done. Let's just double check everything is good. Do we want to have any other things? No, not really. Create the race. Cool. Now, the one thing I will do is I'm going to open the system viewer. And you'll notice that, like, hey, no survey has been done. Well, that's lovely and all, but I want to make sure that we've got an interesting solar system. Like, if we get a terrible solar system to start off with, and then we can't actually do anything inside our solar system, and we're going to be here a while. Like, we don't even understand jump theory. We don't know how to get out of our solar system. Then it's going to be a sucky game. So I'm going to just quickly turn on Space Master mode using this. And I'm going to full geo survey. And now we know that there is nothing on Earth or Mars. Venus has some stuff, but really low availability. And then what about the moons of Jupiter? Those moons are vaguely okay. Low availability. Except for Europa. Europa's good. And Io's bearable. Titan, also pretty decent. Okay, and let's make sure that we've got a source of thorium for fuel. Yeah, Jupiter. Not as much as I'd want, but... Okay. This is potentially a reasonable start. Now, the downside of not having anything on the moon or Mars, it sucks, because you can easily terraform both of those. Venus is kind of annoying. You wouldn't want to really terraform Venus. It's impossible. Well, it is possible. It's just really difficult. It's just very low amounts. The moons of Jupiter, that's the one that we might be okay on. I'm going to have a quick think about this, and then we'll see what we can do. All right, I might regret this, But I think we're probably okay with this start. It's going to be tough. We're definitely going to need to expand past our solar system pretty early on just to get more minerals. There are a few things that we'll need to change. Firstly, Earth. We're going to be staying on Earth for a bit longer, obviously, because we don't have any decent starting research. And obviously, we don't have a jump point research, so we're not going to be able to escape Sol for a bit. Having only 5 digits on our homeworld of a few key resources is not good enough. So we're going to need to specify minerals, and we will just... I mean, the simplest is just to add a 1 to these. And then we'll just save that. There we go. That should keep us going for a little bit. Those aren't super key. The only one I would say is like mostly important there is corundium, which is important for, I believe, automated mines. Otherwise, it's not too much of a bother. As you can see here, if I just disable asteroids, these are all the things with minerals. If I turn off comets as well, you'll notice that it's not a huge list. And some of these are, you know... Oh, it's showing me all dwarf planets? It is. Okay. Thank you, dwarf planets. You don't actually have anything. Why are you here? Go away. You'll see. Yeah. There's not much. Neptune doesn't have anything. Not much. Uranus doesn't have anything. Titan! That's quite nice. Look at that corundium. Almost 5 mil there. So there are some things we can do in our solar system. But it's going to be a bit tough. Jupiter, only 5 million thorium at 0.5 availability is... I would consider that quite low. We're going to need to go looking for fuel for sure. So there's definitely going to be a push to escape our solar system with this setup. It's acceptable. We'll go, I believe it's no geosurvey. And then, yeah, there we go. Right, and we can pop those back to the defaults. So now we haven't surveyed anything, including our homeworld, which we probably should. So we're going to click survey body. And then you'll see that we have our homeworld now surveyed. And we can close that down. Boop. So, with that, that's our start. I'm just going to probably go through and make the display a little bit more simplified. We want events to show up. We would like colonies, jump points, planets, planets, moons, asteroids, fleets, life pods, wrecks, and waypoints, survey locations. We'll turn that off. Mineral packets, we'll turn that on for now. I end up turning that off pretty soon because that's every time people are firing minerals across the solar system so that you can get them to Earth. It gets a little bit busy later on, but to begin with, it looks cool. So active sensors, fire control ranges, weapon range. We'll turn fire control off and just leave it on weapon range. Movement tail, hide escort, geosurvey, points. No, we don't need that. Path, orbital. What else do we need? Asteroids with colonies only and minerals only. Yeah. Then what else do we want? Is that just it? Yeah, I think that's actually probably just it. The other one I will change is contacts, and I would like lost contact 1 day, 1 month. So that basically, like, if you lose contact with someone who comes into your system, you can still recognize that, hey, they were over here rather than just disappearing off the map. Oh, by the way, look out for, I don't know what episode it'll be, like episode 3 or 2, where someone goes, I should go and check out 2017 MB7, and then runs out of fuel on the way, or possibly on the way back if we're lucky. Because, hey, you can get to, like, Brooks. Sure, that's only 30 billion kilometers. That's not ridiculous. But then this 250 billion kilometers. Someone's going to go there. And it's going to be annoying. Oh well. Right, I believe that is everything set up. If we have a look at our commanders. Yes, we can see that the names are propagated correctly. This is awesome. And if we have a quick look at our shipyards. Dracos Heavy Industries and Construction. Lycan Boat Building. Nice. Okay, so that's all worked quite nicely. Brilliant. In which case, I think we're good to go. So this is basically our episode 0. As I said, talking about the setup, talking about how to get involved and so on, and what we'll be doing for the interactivity and the government setup. But also talking about like why I am setting certain settings in one way or another. Obviously, you know, we've got the game settings, which you can go back and you can change these. We could like ramp up the difficulty modifier now, and it wouldn't apply to the population and stuff of the NPR because they've already been created. All it would do is it would affect their research rate and their growth rate. So if we want to do later on, we could ramp that up. It might have actually been wise to like leave that at 100 to begin with, just so they start the same as us, and then ramp it up later on. But whatever. That would involve thinking. What else? I think everything else is pretty good. I don't think I want to change anything, so... yeah. I think we're in a pretty strong place. And can we have a look at us? There we go. Oh, yeah. I like this. This is a good setup. I've been EnterElysium. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode 0 type thing. Again, this is going to be unlisted somewhere, and if you've enjoyed watching it, then whatevs. Hopefully it's a thing that you'll enjoy. I will just say that there are a couple of extra things I will be using throughout this game. And let me just bring one of them up. Firstly, one of them is this. It's literally just a image. It's a ping, which I got off the Aurora Discord. The Aurora Discord is super helpful, by the way. If you're playing Aurora, I would recommend getting on the Discord for them. It basically tells you like how big each installation is. So if you want to say move an infrastructure, you'll be like, oh, that's like 10 of those to a cargo hold. But if you want to move, say, a naval headquarters, you could be like, that's going to be like 20 cargo holds to move that. Like that's a lot. Sure. And the other thing I would recommend is the A4X calc.jar. I can't remember who wrote this, by the way, but whoever you are awesome. There is no name on this. But basically, it's a fantastic way for planning out missiles or for trying to like devise ships. You can use it with so much ease. Like if I go, hey, we want a ship which is 5,000 tons with an iron engine and all these things here. I would like this to go at 3,000 kilometers per second, and I'd like to have a range of, say, 50 billion. It's going to be military, and I want the engine and the fuel to take a maximum of 40% of the tonnage. And then it'll be like, okay, sure. Well, here are some options. And it'll be like, okay, so this one here, there's available 3,195 spare tons out of that 5,000. It will go just over 3,000. It will have a range of just over 50 billion kilometers with one engine. And that engine will be a 0.9 times multiplier. It will be 27 hull size. And it tells you all these things. And it also tells you, hey, you want one large fuel tank, 4 standard. Incredibly useful. Obviously, with the military, you probably want to have like 3 engines. So, you know, you'll just want it to... No feasible solution? Really? Interesting. What if we like drop that range a little bit? There we go. And you can see now that we've still got a few options here based on having a 3-engine design. It'll tell you the exact sizes. It'll tell you the fuel. It's so useful. And then if you want to go to missiles, you can be like, right, I would like a missile that has a size of 6, desired range of 40 million kilometers with a strength of 9 warhead. No sensor because that would be silly. And I believe you can just hit optimize based on that. And then it'll be like, okay, cool. Based on this set of techs, your best to hit chance, because we're optimizing for accuracy, would be this one here. Build this. And it'll, you know, go ahead and you can be like, right, okay, enter these parameters. Really useful tool. I thoroughly recommend it if you're playing Aurora. Definitely get yourself that. Again, that can be found on the Aurora Discord in, I think it's like #tools or something. You'll find it in there. It's easy to find. They're really helpful people as well, so just pop on and ask. But for now, I've been EnterElysium. We'll get down to an episode 1 pretty shortly, but hopefully you've enjoyed. I'm really loving this setup. Like, just effortlessly, I can play on multiple monitors and I don't have to worry about having to try and like flick scenes. It does it automatically. Also, if I bring up the... Obviously, this is our starting galaxy. You'll notice that it's technically 3 monitors. Let me close that. Right. Anyway, this is just me being hyped. Again, throughout this, liking and subscribing and commenting and all that normal interactivity jazz will be really helpful. You know, YouTube hates videos and it hates, you know, more roleplay type videos more. So if people can do that, that'd be great. Also, seeing people just join into the Discord and get in with the bit of interactivity, the RP, that'd be great. I'm really looking forward to that. We've already got some people like setting up different political parties and stuff already. I think we've got like, I want to say a little over half a dozen. And that will be interesting. Until next time, stay shiny.